Hi everyone, I'm here today with Sharifa Wilkinson, who's a sports and major event management specialist. Thanks for joining me today. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing well, Maria. Thank you. How are you?
I'm really well. Are you ready to play 20 questions?
Yes, I am. Really excited.
Okay, first question. Where are you in the world and why are you there?
Yes. I am currently in my living room, sitting at my living room table, but in London, England. Why am I here? I've always wanted to travel to London, and this was a good opportunity to do it. And I arrived here a little bit before the pandemic.
Oh, so tell us what you love about the sports and major event industry and what was your first role?
I love the passion, emotion, and excitement of sports. I love the energy of working for sports organizations. I love how dynamic it is. Every day can be something different. I started playing soccer when I was 4 years old, so I've always felt like I've been involved in the sports industry. I started off coaching and refereeing, but my first real role, getting paid to work in sport, was as a sports camps counselor when I was 16 years old. That made me realize that I had a passion for sport and I wanted to work in the industry. But my first major sporting event was the Toronto 2015 Parapan Am Games.
Mm. Oh, wonderful. You also have formal qualifications in sport management. What's the most important thing that you learned on that program?
You have to get involved in the industry. Having theory alone is not enough. So, whether you volunteer for a sports organization or you intern, you have to get involved. You won't truly understand the industry, the good and the bad, without getting involved in the industry. So,
Oh,
that's something that they made really clear as we were incoming freshmen, and even throughout my college career, they had mentioned you need to get involved, and that's something that I took to heart, and something that I tell my students now: get involved however you can.
you've had a real variety of roles from like what stadiums to Commonwealth Games, managing cruise ship entertainment and working with venues like Tower Bridge. Which industry role have you enjoyed the most and why?
I have to say, without a doubt, the 2018 Commonwealth Games in the Gold Coast.
Mhm.
The Gold Coast, if you haven't been, is absolutely amazing. There is a beach not too far away. There's always some sand around. The weather was fantastic. I worked with a great team. I had an inspiring leader. It was a fabulous venue, and we worked really hard, but we also enjoyed ourselves outside of work. So by far, Commonwealth Games in the Gold Coast, my favorite work experience ever.
You've also worked as a teacher and a lecturer. What is it about teaching that you love?
I love working with students. It's so interesting to hear their thoughts and opinions on certain subjects. Sometimes their answers surprise me in a good way. They look at things different from different perspectives, and I really enjoy learning from their point of view and exploring different ideas and concepts. Another thing that I really love about teaching is researching.
Mm.
As a teacher, you're always learning, and in some roles, you're not always learning in that capacity. But anything that I'm interested in, I have an opportunity to kind of dig into the nuts and bolts of it and share what I've learned with my students.
What advice would you give to someone who either wants to join or progress in sports and major event industries in 2021 in this current environment?
I really like the quote: if you want something you've never had, you must be willing to do something you've never done.
Uh,
And I think for me, that means like getting creative, exploring sport, really look at what's on the fringes of sport, what is not mainstream. Think about new sport, emerging sport, focusing on technology, and then think about how can I prepare myself for not tomorrow or a year from now, but 10 years from now. So what tools do you need to be prepared for the sport industry 10 years from now? And that takes some, educational guessing. But at the same time, if you're thinking 10 years from now, you're thinking about things like technology. So you'll get the educational skills that you need to be able to be successful in that space. So definitely get creative, think about where the money trail is in sport. Esport is very popular right now, so try and step away from traditional sport and think about new ways into the sports industry.
It has been a tough past year for many, professionally and personally. Who has been your rock or your support group, the people who keep you going?
I would say my partner, my family, and my friends. They are my support group. It's interesting being away from them right now. With technology, it feels like I'm so connected. I can spend hours talking to my mom or dad on Zoom, having a face conversation. Yeah, it's same with my friends. You have a lot of opportunity to really connect with them, although you're not there physically with them.
Okay. We're all sort of quite obsessed now that we're working from home with finding a little place to make our own. Can you tell me a little bit about your current home working space?
Yes. So right now I'm sitting at my living room table. I have my book. I love, I'm not sure if you've heard of the bullet journal, but it's an organizational method that you can use. So I have my bullet journal, and that's like the only paper I have. Everything else is computer based. If I'm not working from here, I bought a couch desk, like a small desk for my couch. And it is amazing. It is a life changer. So once you get tired of sitting upright, you can sit down on the couch and do some work there.
Tell us about who has been a valuable role model in your life.
It's a really good question. I think I draw inspiration from a lot of different people. If I read a really good book, I'll draw inspiration from that. If I'm working with someone and they're really good at their job and they take a lot of pride in their work, I also draw inspiration from that. So in regards to one specific role model, I think I have too many to note, but it's really about drawing inspiration from those that are around you, doing their job the way that you would like to do yours, or doing their job the way that you want to be able to aspire to do yours.
And what about what's the favorite part of your day?
Question. I think it's right when I wake up, before I check my cell phone, and it's just that time to be like, it's a new day filled with possibilities, before I look at my long to-do list, and you just get a moment to relax and think about everything that you need to do. So I think that's like a really peaceful moment. Right as you wake up, you're filled with energy, and the day feels like there are no limits.
What is the most important lesson that life has taught you?
The most important lesson is no one is coming to save you. You always need to be looking to save yourself. I think that's the most important lesson. Doing whatever you can, that if you're in a pickle or something's not going right, you are responsible for changing your situation. And sometimes that's getting creative. Sometimes that's going back to school. Sometimes that's, having a difficult conversation that you might not want to have. Sometimes that's protecting your energy. But the most important thing is no one's coming to save you. You have to be looking to save yourself and doing whatever you need to get through to the next stage.
Looking back to lockdown, what's been your guilty pleasure during lockdown?
I don't know if you've ever heard of them, but it's Schneider's honey mustard and onion pretzels. I absolutely I absolutely love them. And my brother said to me the other day, he's like, stop, you're eating, like, this is a snack for old people. What are you doing? And I was like, they're so delicious. Have you had them? And I gave him one. He's like, actually, it is really good. So absolutely love pretzels. And I'm not a pretzel person, but for some reason, these honey mustard and onion pretzels are just delicious.
What words or phrases do you most commonly overuse?
Definitely the word so. I use so all the time. And being a lecturer right now and seeing, like, having to record my lectures, go through and edit them, I can just hear it consistently. And I've asked my students about it, like, can you hear me saying so all the time? And they say no. I guess it's they don't hear, it's just a filler word, but I can hear myself saying it, but I can't stop myself. So that's one of the words that I say all the time, and I probably said it 1,000 times throughout this interview.
Okay. Okay. What would be your dream event to work on or venue to work for?
LA 2028,
Oh,
the Summer
yeah.
Olympics,
Yeah.
is something that I've been talking about since it's been announced. I am so keen to work for the 2028 Olympics in LA. It just seems like LA is such a beautiful place. It just seems like it'll be such an amazing event, and I want to be a part of it.
Who would play the movie of your life?
I really like the actress Issa Rae. She is great. People always say that we kind of look alike. I think we have similar eyes. Yeah, I think that she'd be a really great person to play me in a movie.
What trait or character quality do you most admire in others?
I think when they are exceptional at their job, no matter what they're doing. In one of my previous venues, we had a cleaner and he was in from like maybe 6 a.m. till noon, and he was exceptional at his job, absolutely immaculate. So much so that the 1 week that he was on vacation, I noticed a decrease or a decline in the area that he was responsible for cleaning. And he was just so like he took his job very seriously. He was always immaculately dressed. He did his job brilliantly, and I think that is a trait that I admire in people. If they do their job exceptionally, no matter what their job is, I'm always I always admire that.
If you could live anywhere in the world, where would it be and why?
I think the Amalfi Coast in Italy. I really do love it. It's beautiful. I was there maybe 5 years ago now, and it was absolutely stunning. Really great weather, good food. I would love to live there for periods of the year at least.
Who would you invite to a dream dinner party?
The first person that popped into my head was Serena Williams. She was my childhood idol, and I mean, she's the greatest athlete of all time. It's undisputable, and I just think it'd be really interesting to sit down and talk to her about her life and growing up. I mean, you can watch documentaries and stuff now, but I think she would be an amazing person to speak with.
Okay, can you tell us something about yourself that would surprise people or that they'd find unexpected about you?
Okay, so one is sport related and then the other one is leisure related. But sport related, I absolutely love UFC, mixed martial arts. People are always really surprised when I say that. One, I think as a sport, it's kind of the model that they're using could be the future. But I guess in addition to that, the athletes are like the game, the sport is so complex. It's like the athlete versus themselves versus another competitor. There's no one but those two people in the rings. And from an athletic standpoint, you know, they're athletic specimens. It's really, really a really fascinating sport to watch as a sport entity, but also to watch as a spectator, as a fan. And the other thing is I love to do puzzles. This is a recent something that I found out recently, but I absolutely love to do puzzles. And I found this out during lockdown. It's an opportunity to step away from technology, and you're just kind of engrossed in whatever's happening right in front of you. So yeah, those are the two.
Last question, number 20. What are you most looking forward to when life returns to normal or semi-normal post-COVID?
Traveling. Definitely traveling. I love traveling. This is the longest that I haven't been out of a country before. I think in the past 10 years. So I want to go to a beach. I want to have sand between my toes. I want to get in the water and swim. I'm really, really looking forward to traveling, which I think a lot of people are feeling that way as well.
I would agree with that. Well, Sharifa, thank you so much for joining me for 20 questions today.
No worries. Thank you so much for having me.
Very interesting answers there, and I think you're right about what to look forward to. Yeah, being away from our everyday is something that's keeping a lot of us going. So you take care, and I look forward to seeing you soon.
Thank you so much, Maria.
Bye.
Bye.